Manners respect, manners respect, manners respect people. Oh, everybody doing. Hope everybody's doing good. Wherever you are in the world, hope things is looking nice and warm for you. Uh, People have reached 100 subscribers. It's goes out to show all the people them say anything when you start off with, eventually. It won't be overnight, but eventually you can get your traction and you can move on. So people wanna know how we stay over here, so we just come for listen, learn, understand, share, help out each other. All of the good stuff where is necessary in a today's society, in a today's community. You know the funny thing about it is all of them people when them talk, they not talk about ghetto, they not talk about what you call it, garrison. They not use them term then use the term of community, neighborhood, family. They, the way them talk about how them live, it's so amazing because the times where them living I was tough. The times that them living I was the struggle, was the real struggle. And the struggle was against people with a mind set. That's why we're not supposed to use something because them people their mind set. So just because them skin color make them superior. And the only way they reinforce it is with violence. So me not say, oh yeah, reinforce something with violence to make it true. That don't make no sense. The thing about it is now is just equality right through history. Everybody just want for them turn for earn. Everybody's just looking for them slice of life. For them ideal liberty. So in a right through history, up to today day, me not see what existence is if that's not one of your purpose in a life. So when you can look on them people, look on people can talk about because somebody got eventually talk about at least one person. At least one person I got talk about you, remember you. Your daughter, granddaughter, somebody. If them I got talk about you in high esteem, like how we talk about them great people, yeah. Or, or don't talk about them great people, yeah. Because maybe it is. Maybe just because them people are so great, some people can look upon them and say them people deserve them flowers too. Because if you see the greatness and you don't want to talk about it, So much great people out there to talk about, and you rather talk about people and it make no sense. You highlight people and now do no positivity. Just that serve a purpose. For real, people really have to looking at themselves. So that's why I say, I go. The more them channel are coming where have them positive vibes and things, yeah. I just gotta delete one channel and put them in. Channels going to watch, delete them, put them in. I mean, it no matter if you delete them or not, cause to them channel they will have thousands and thousands of subscribers. It no matter to them. When I tell me hear them say, oh, 5 million people stop subscribe to Beyonce when she have like a trillion follower. uh, she have a trillion follower and 5 million follower sub follower. I know like say them stop by our merchandise, stop by our music and stuff like that. So stop for unfollowing them never make no sense. But me just I got add them people here to my feed so them people can for them positivity can go out there at least, you know, in my feed too. Sometimes say people me highlight the ladies them and me tell us I do a couple videos on not just the situation, but also the ladies. Because in every situation you always have the ladies them must save the day. Right? You always have the power of women. And the power of women is where we don't look at. You see, one of the things them when we look at is how them lock down the world, right? Them lock down the world and then open up the world and then tell the ladies, okay, ladies, going back to work. Nothing to see here. Me know I say, wait there. So we're supposed to have at least a moment of gratitude for all of the ladies that will fight um through the sickness where them say the sickness was, right? All of them nurses there, all of them people there were put up a fight physically, emotionally and mentally, right? For console. Man, me tell us that the work where them ladies are doing that time, we need like a whole show for feature what them do, right? So women is always the hero in every situation. There's no there's no doubt about it. And the reason why we now give woman the credit where them need is because the people them say, oh, King Solomon was the wisest man and he never knew the secret of a woman. And I say if you know the secret is for you to appreciate a good woman. Right? Where you wanna know the secret of a woman for that just defeat the purpose. You never hear a woman say she wanna know the secret of a man. uh there's some things me tell you some me think about and I got you. Me personally what me look at. So one of the people them um when I want feature I'm gonna tell you say there's gonna be part one and part two of everything, right? So it's just introduction to these great people, right? And I heard this lady come up, lady's name come up a few times, and I said, I want find out more about her. Detail, people. You know how the story I go, right? I just I get comfortable in the night, yeah. I start an hour early tonight because I just want to get the feel of, you know, want to do one live at 1 in the morning when I can just, the whole world is quiet and just get the peace to listen and understand because the daytime is such a hustle and bustle, you know. People, their mind is never at peace with anything. Okay, so you know, so me terrible with the pronunciation. Me have to take my time and word out everything. So tonight feature it's Sharad Ali, born Sharad Ali, born April 27, 1954, is an American author of several books, including a paperback called "A Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman." The book was controversial, bringing for the community forums, picket and heated arguments among black people in many parts of the United States. When it was published in 1989. So people, it's like not yesterday recently, but you know, in a few time recently because this in the past thing, people, we can't get over that. All right. So she's 70. She's an author. Notable works: The Black Man's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman. She has 12 children. So people, again, I tell you, say the people them were have more education than me, more more letters at the end of their name than I am on this earth, right? So we like to listen to them people talk. So this is her talking, doing an interview with I Never Knew channel, and I told you about this channel on YouTube. He has a lot of interviews with a lot of people, and eventually, some of them people I would have like to talk to them personally, or then come on my channel. Or, you know what, go people? We always I look ahead, right? So this is the interview with her and him as we proceed.
Ali, welcome to I Never Knew TV. Right, glad to have you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Right. So, I want to start off and ask, where did you grow up, and what were your parents like as parents and husband and wife?
Now you know when I'm not important like that, and all my history and everything. Uh, I grew up actually here in Cincinnati, and my parents were good people. They were mentally dead. They didn't know the truth, so they taught me what they knew. But I was well taken care of. My father was an engineer, and my mother was a homemaker in white people's house.
Where did the idea come from to create the book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman? And did the wisdom in the book come from literature or just life observations?
Well, I got the idea. I had written a book in 1985. Oh, these all seem so long time ago. But anyway, I had written a book called How Not to Eat Pork, A Life Without the Pig. Okay. And I was going around with that, taking a microscope, showing the people how to kind of worm, look at the muscle in the brain, and I was, like I said, I've always been an activist of some kind, trying to do something for us. And I noticed that the men were saying, "Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm gonna get with that." Da, da, da. And they were more in agreement. And the sisters were, "He gonna eat what I cook. I've been cooking it. He been eating it, and my grandma ate it. And she's still here. She ate it. And I said, wait a minute, what's happening here?" And that happened a few times. Not a lot of people, but a few times that caught my ear, and I said, now we are withholding the proper food from the black man, and food is what sustains life. What else are we withholding that is affecting his development and success? And so then I started looking at us, which had not been done, because prior to me writing the Black Man's Guide, and it was released in March of 1990, I wrote it in 1989, but was that we did not want to take too much any accountability for the condition of our families and the failure of our families and undisciplined children, everything. And because then everything was blamed on the black man. You know, he ain't this, he ain't in the house, he ain't paying this, he not working, he not whatever. With us negating the fact that he was under, you know, you all were under a terrible system. You didn't have anything going. You were still held back by your color, not your ability. And I didn't like that because I had a wonderful husband and I had great sons as a result of that. And I did not want you all to continue to function without really knowing us like we thought we knew you. Okay. We had support in every negative idea we had about every black man. Okay. And the black man you see now is not the black man of the 50s and 60s and 70s. Okay.
Oh boy. The black man nowadays is not from the 50s, the 60s, or the 70s. Straight up facts, lady. I tell you some people, you're not gonna agree with everything that everybody says, right? But when they say the truth, you have to agree.
They have grafted you all in a way. You all a whole new different people than the kind of men we knew. Okay. But at any rate, I wanted to just study us and look at that. And so I got it from traveling, interviewing people, and the foundational principles of what makes success in a relationship.
Big heads up, everybody.
Again, people, and I don't know, and people them have to earn them dollars because these programs them don't get highlighted. Keep on saying them things, all right? Because people, when we learn, we have to share what we learn. So it's not for us to sit on these. But we have to promote them people here, big up them people here. And again, some of them people here interview, it's on his channel. Enough people upon his channel. Right? So I saw if we support each other as we proceed.
Success in a relationship. And from myself and just a lot of different, aspects of life, I started, gathering that information. It was there all along. The Black Man's Guide is not a surprise. It's just the first time y'all seen it in print. Yeah, ain't no surprises in there.
And all right, so everything you learned from the book about not eating pork, you applied to this book in regards to marketing, how to get everything done.
Well, of course, all of the worlds have a joining on, especially with knowledge. You can, go from one step to the other, lead you to the other. Diet is very important. Diet is the reason that we are overweight, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol.
Salt. Lots of salt. People, make sure you don't pick up a buckle of sauce off of me now, because my sauces are delicious and sodium free. It's true, people. I tell us that we have issues, and we don't look at the issues that we have. We look at other people, point out other people's problem. As we proceed, people.
Overweight, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, liver disease. Now we're getting a whole thing on kidney disease. A lot of these things we have developed from bad diet. We don't know what we're eating. We're the only people in America who don't have a food chain. And when I say that, I don't mean stores. We don't have a food path. The Asians, they have stores. They have food in there that's got their language. We don't even know what's in the can if it ain't no picture of it. They created that. We even have Africans here who have food that they have brought in from the East and from South Africa that they are able to sell here, that they manufactured. They brought it in, however. And of course, the Latinos, the Mexicans, all of them have their own food. We can't even, as I say, read a lot of the labels. And so everyone here has a food path except us. Our only food path is to get it from them. Okay, white people even get a lot of their food, out of Italy and a lot of places over there in Europe. But we don't have any place. We don't get along with the Africans, and they don't get along with us. They've been taught to hate us and dislike us and think we're a fool. And we've been taught we don't like their attitude. They act like they're superior, because we're walking around talking about we are African Americans. We're not African Americans. We are American Africans. This is how African look that's been indoctrinated with all.
And you see, yeah. I say African first, and anywhere you go, okay, so fine. So they consider themselves American African, but the key thing is we're all Africans, right? And that's the key thing. But once you say this now, it's gonna cause a separation because some people say no, you shouldn't say it this way, you should say it that way, and then big division. But at least we're African. It's a start.
American Africans. This is how African look that's been indoctrinated with all the nonsense of America. This is how an African looks when they have been robbed of their God, their politics, and their principles. We are a result. This is what it looks like. Okay? Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches the first thing it does is dignify you. And it does teach you superiority because you are superior. We don't have to pretend that we're not superior, certainly the black man. Because by you all accepting that you are less, and they have made it almost illegal. That's one of the things they said against the messenger, is that he teaching racial superiority. Absolutely. They teach it. And if they didn't teach racial superiority, then how come they don't say that Jesus is black or Chinese or Latino? They made him white like them. That's the supreme racial superiority that they tricked us with. Yeah. But the church give us an activity that we think we're doing for God. The church give us something to do. The church give us what the messenger called the imagination of truth. It lets us dream of something when we know good and well what he taught is that nobody's interested in the affairs of man but another man. All right. And he told us that if Jesus or any of the people that they say they believe in came down here, or if an angel, if a human being came down here with wings on their back and somebody floated down out of the clouds, or did any of that, we wouldn't run up to them and say, "Oh Lord." We would run away from them. Okay? And the white people would try to kill them. They would shoot him. That would be the first thing. Oh no, we're not having none of that. And then so we have been taught to look at things in such a ridiculous way. It's just absurd.
Since you brought up Christianity, I had a question I want to ask before we get back to the book. I heard you say, I don't know if it's in the book, I heard you in an interview say, you said these preachers or leaders, Christian leaders, are not praying for people, they're preying on them. Can you explain what you meant?
Oh my goodness. I say that. I say when they say they're preying on you. They're taking your money. They're taking everything what you do. It's not benefiting you. It now benefit the person who got church. Because they're giving you faith. And faith is something where you have already. Faith can be given to a person. You can give a person guidance. And this is what I said. We are supposed to give each other guidance in believing in yourself. Trusting in yourself. Be honest with the people that are around you. That's faith. You believe so you can they're gonna do the same. That's why I say like-minded people. If the people them never like-minded, them would not share my content, So when you say like-minded people, the people have to be in the same similar situation for them to think like you and have the same direction. But the preacher them, I tell us that before the preacher them did involve in everything. Now these preacher them just they don't make the man them like them used to. That's true. As we proceed, people.
Are not praying for people, they're preying on them. Can you explain what you meant by that?
I don't remember saying that, but I'm sure you paraphrase in some kind of way. It's like a lot of the so-called ministers and preachers and different people we got out here, they're not teaching you to worship God. They're teaching you to worship them. Okay? God don't need money in that way. And there has never been a God recorded that lived in high riches like all of the people that say they represent God do today. It's not a necessity. Okay? In fact, when you really are strong in your faith, you don't even want a lot of material things as proof that you are in contact with God. You know, the blessing is survival. The blessing, the supreme blessing is peace, which is something we don't have. We don't have peace. We're not even familiar with it, other than saying peace or peace and love and things like that. But as a way of life, as to practice it in our homes and over our children so that we can model a new idea. That's the only way to change a people. You change their idea. You don't have to change their environment. You don't have to charge them nothing. You don't have to join no group. Just change your idea. And the rest of all of you will get in line with that. And you will be successful in whatever that idea is. Now, that idea can be robbing a bank. That idea can be murdering somebody. But if you get in agreement in your mind to do it, it can turn out all kinds of ways. So we should get in agreement in our mind to practice doing things a different way, to raise our children a different way, to stop treating the children like they are a burden, you know, and that they are in the way. And all that talk about the children are the future. Well, we looking at the future now. Do we like it?
People. I'm telling you, these people are some fiery people that I'm bringing on here, people. People will talk with sense. All right? And then now I go agree with everything that they say. But some of the things them what them say, a lot of the things that what them say make sense. Right? As we proceed, people.
Don't like it. Our children are savage running the streets. We've let them get raised up on all the nonsense on every media that we could afford to buy them. That's not anything we're proud of. They're very ignorant and disrespectful and embarrassing. And most of us are afraid of them because they're so savage. They have no predictability. I had a high school ask me to come and speak to the seniors because that one book I have, Things Your Parents Should Have Told You, it was required reading in a lot of schools at one time that the children had to read this and understand it before you get your diploma, especially in New York. And so I would look at the condition of the children and recognize that we're looking at the tomorrow. And we don't have an alternate plan. There's a few good brothers out here with some schools now for Black boys, especially. Okay. We need that. We need them for the girls. And that's another thing I want to mention. We need to start letting our little boys play with dolls. And this is a campaign that I'm trying to get started. They need to play with dolls because we got young men out here and older men that the child interrupt the video game, they knock it out with their fists. They beat them, they kill them. They don't know how to discipline them physically. They go too far. They punching them with their fists. They're doing a lot of things to these babies, taking their frustration out on them and anger out on them because they don't relate to it. They don't know how to deal with it. So we tend to just teach motherhood as if that's all you need, while on the other hand, we talk about you need the father in the home, when we don't consider teaching you all fatherhood. There ain't no magic in none of it. We have to be taught everything. And so if we teach the father how to relate to the child and the baby, maybe he'll do a little different.
I don't know about that part. I don't know about that. Me think say it's just you should have a class for man where man can sit down and talk about them frustration and how them deal with it. I tell you say them things that is not it's not there. We did talk about the idea of having like all of the man them were done have them kids already and settling. You'd have like a father class and would sit down and would talk about situation of dealing with kids, mainly boys. Those things are not there. Until I said, oh, there used to be so much community awareness. People used to have so much groups them join. Here she said them have a few schools that that teaches boys. That are one thing, cadet and them things there. But then them things that need supervision, right? So all of these things is not impossible enough, people. It's better we talk about reason about solutions and just say, well, there's only problems. Because then people before us, they came up with solutions. Them solve enough problem. As we proceed, people.
Relate to the child and the baby, maybe he'll do a little different. We can't just teach the mother how to be a mother, and if the father don't know it, and that that got past me too. Why do we think that you all automatically have that? You've been up under the same slave masters, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, and enemy that we have been under. So we have all been affected in our way of thinking. We're not doing things like we used to do them, and so we're not getting that result anymore. It's too many variables. We have allowed too much to get into our children's head, and we have let them see bad models, children cursing their parents out, fighting their parents, doing all of those kind of things. That hasn't worked. And so people say I'm old school. Now I'm on the system that worked.
Up, up, up. Welcome, welcome. Education time.
The one we got now has not worked, is not working, and will not. We have to be able to have some input into those kind of things. We got young people now that don't even know personal hygiene. So whose responsibility is it to teach that?
That's a big thing. I taught in public school.
Yes, absolutely.
Like people don't acknowledge that kids don't know basic hygiene.
The girls or the boys,
and they're not taught.
Yeah. And and we have some other sexual things that are going on. Life, everything is a trend. Okay. And we jump on trends because we don't have no self. And so we can mimic everybody. That's why we do so good in all of them pictures. Will Smith was Muhammad Ali. Jamie Foxx was Ray Charles. We can turn into anybody because there's nothing in there for us to hold on to as a base. Okay. That lack of knowledge of self, God, and the devil has left us, we're just blind, deaf, and dumb in a sense. Not dumb like stupid. We the smartest people here, but dumb and not being able to speak or hear or talk about things that make sense and are good plans. Okay. And right now, in looking on the internet, you have adult Black women shaking their naked behinds to the camera. Okay. This is the kind of desperation that we have for the Black man who we say we can't get along with. Okay. But everything that we do is to attract you. However we dress, however raunchy, whatever it is to attract you. Okay. Whatever kind of makeup, hair, long hair, fingernails, anything artificial that we add to ourselves is because of our low self-esteem and low value for ourselves. And we think we have to have something made by somebody else to adorn ourselves with to get your attention. It all leads back to you. God is a man. All right. Everything leads back to you, even if we're fighting you. Okay. We want y'all way more than you want us. You all don't. We make it seem like it's the opposite way. Okay. But the desperation that we live in because of our loneliness and not being able to mate, even intellectually.
From what I understand, you spoke to Kevin Samuels numerous times, and he acknowledged your work as being an inspiration for his views about relationships in our community, right? Did you agree with Kevin Samuel's approach?
All right, this is the good part because you see, I forgot to do a thing on Kevin Samuels too and his view because many people have again how them talk about people. Them say fitting point of view wasn't a lot of people didn't accept it. And it was good that he you guys know. But anyways, I wanna do a thing on specifically on him, right? Because there's so much great people, I keep on saying it. There's so much great people, past, present, and future, on how they see things and how them change things, right? As we proceed, people.
Do you agree with Kevin Samuel's approach?
No, I didn't agree with Kevin Samuels. He agreed with me, and he was always so respectful to me. And we were getting ready to do something though. We were going to do a big thing in Atlanta, and then he went and died. So I guess that wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay, so there you go. That's what I did want to say about Kevin Samuels. But again, many people when he passed off had many things to say. And you know how it is with people already. I said the critics, they're there to be criticizing of things that they can't do and not in a positive sense. Well, the Rastaman did say the critics are there to make us better, right? Which that's that's his view.
So I guess that wasn't supposed to happen. But Kevin, the book woke him up, and it gave him the courage to discuss and address these things since I had did it and had put out the blueprint. And so he was a bit crude. I had told him I didn't think he would be successful because of how he was going about it. But he told it the way he saw it, and he was not successful. He was successful in his platform, getting hundreds of thousands of people, 3, 4, 500,000 people were, tuning in to hear him, his comments. But I don't know. I'm sure it benefited some of the women because it put us in check about what we think our overrated value is. Okay. And we think we have a greater value because we think that we are in charge of sex. Okay. And most men will just about do anything or go along with anything if they think that. Well, that's changing. Okay. That is not all completely the way it was. This is the thing I wanted to mention, and I don't usually talk about this. When I say that we're living in trends, the messenger talked about when we get out of control, too savage, that you live in a beast life. Okay. Our younger people, that children of the future there, are living somewhat of a beast life.
No worries. Thanks for stopping by. I tell you, say every time when I stop by, it always I help the algorithm. So that we're supposed to do. I'm tell you, say it's positive content I'm putting out. So it's always something we can always listen to later on. So no problem. Thanks for showing your face, Miss White. Always manners, respect. There's no in between. Silent listeners, thank you too. As we proceed.
Of a beast life. Because the new trend now, and I only know about this because they put it out there in the public on the Instagram and the internet and on the Facebook and everything. One of the things that scientists say separates the humans from the animals is that humans mate face to face. Animals mate from the rear. Well, it's popular now that that's what they're all doing, mating from the rear and doing all kind of other distasteful things and calling it sex. That's a bad sign. Okay. There's a different connection, as we all know, of face to face than another kind of way. People are getting hurt. They're choking each other. They spitting in each other's mouth, doing all kind of things that would never, ever have been considered as sexual pleasure. There's something wrong in that. I don't know how long they're going to be practicing that. And they're even doing oral sex in people's anus and their behinds, all kind of stuff, crazy stuff. And I'm talking about it because we need to know, and we need to start trying to teach something differently. Okay, that's not no love. That's not no showing of love. That's something crazy. And the girls are accepting it. Young women are being choked, or somebody spitting in their mouth, all kind of insanity things, and they calling it sex. That ain't no sex. I don't know what kind of beast like that is, but that's another trend that I hope passes, because that's taking it to such a low level. Where can it go after that? And how long then will generations think that that's affection? So that's a very bad sign, I think. And that the young women think that that's natural, as I said, that they going along with this, and that the men are tiring really of them at all. They don't even want to look at them. And I'm concerned.
And that's one of the thing about desensitizing. Exactly what she talked about. When we start disrespect woman and treat woman, and then get tired of them here, move on to the next one. So it's never about respect. All of the video them when me show talk about respect. Respect never get old. Self-respect are one of the greatest thing you can have for yourself. As we proceed.
Oh, they don't even want to look at them. And I'm concerned about that, and I think we all should be.
I just wanted to touch on the Kevin Samuels thing one more time. Do you believe he helped bring interest into your works with a new generation?
No, I don't think so. I think it just it was so personally, individually critical. I don't think that ever helps. I think you have to be civilized and you're asking and telling. And I don't think that that kind of overly criticism of an individual, each person individually, no, that does not help, especially publicly.
You see what I'm talking about? Criticism. You see what I'm talking about? Criticism. If you're gonna criticize, it's with a solution. I don't know who the person is. I guess I forgot to do a detail on that, because again, her book was very controversial and people talk about it, right? So for somebody to be overly that may I talk about. Okay, as we proceed, people.
We already got low self-esteem, and that don't mean build us up on some false bravado. I don't mean that, but I mean we just have to be more gentle with each other. We are damaged creatures.
Let me reword it. I apologize. I wanted to ask, do you think his work brought more attention to your book with a new generation, with a younger generation that probably didn't know about
I'm
your
not
work?
sure. See, the other thing is, remember, we're in a society where they're teaching against reading. All right, everybody either want to hear it or see it. So reading is not as popular. So I'm not sure if it worked that way. My sales have been impacted on a lot of things. You know, that must be 50 books out called The Black Man's Guide and The Black Woman's Guide. You know, so many people have copied, you know, my title. So I'm not sure it worked that way. I'm still selling books, and he's still, I'm sure, there's still brothers out there not trying to take his place. So that's just, you know, the way that turned out. He got me, I think, more attention for me, toward me as a writer, as a sister, you know. But I know my place in the world, and I'm just a woman. That's not an insult. That's not a put down. But I am not a man. See, God is a man. You represent God, and I tell black women the closest you may ever get to God is being with a black man, because he looks more like you than me. And we have so many things out here affecting our respect and image of self. That's the other reason black women don't want to believe that the black man is God, because they think the black man they know ain't nothing, and that y'all ain't nothing, so there ain't no way you can be God. In fact, you have some brothers who have surrendered, and they walking around talking about the black woman as God. Some more absurd, silly nonsense that we waste our time on.
When did that start? This notion that the black woman was God?
Well, they just have surrendered. It can't be me because I can't do nothing. I ain't got nothing and look like she more successful or whatever. And so we just decide then she must be God. That's what a man do. I don't know no man that would decide that. And I try to correct every brother I run into about that. They think they complimenting me by saying the black woman is God, but I'm not God. And I don't want that job. Okay, I got enough to do. I don't want that responsibility, and I don't have that power.
I wanted to touch on, before we get to the last question, I want to touch on something you said where you said black women, they don't see much in black men, right? Mm-hmm. And from personal experience, what I noticed that even if you're I don't know these terms they use, highly performing, even if you're just a great guy, right? Mm-hmm. They still can't see the greatness in you.
They still what?
They still struggle to see the greatness in you if you're a great person.
Well, as I said, we've been all taught against each other so hard. We have to talk more. Now, that's one thing Kevin did. He got more black men speaking out about their dissatisfaction. Well, dissatisfaction produced change. One of the changes has been more of our men are going offshore seeking other women who they say know how to act more like a woman. All right? It's like we're
that's not the solution, people. Kevin Samuel, so if we talk more, so we go to our next country, we go talk to our next woman more. People, sometimes, we miss the point. We really do, people. As we proceed.
Everything you do, why don't you act like a man? When you all have never challenged our womanhood, you all have never told us, why don't you act like a woman? It's not in you. But we'll tell you real quick, why don't you act like a man? Well, how do we know what a man act like? Most of us didn't have a father. We didn't have a model. We only saw fathers on television and in movies. And they gave us certain ideas that white people have that they themselves don't live up to. Okay. Their fatherhood is built on them being able to provide. And they kept you from being able to do that so that you could not have that. And that's another reason I say that we have to teach our men how to be fathers, how to deal with babies, how to change a diaper, how to do all of those things. You made that. That's your idea. So you need to be a part of how it's going to be reared and how to handle it. Many of our brothers now ending up with their children because many of our women, sometimes they have them and then after 5 or 6 years, they decide, I don't want to be no parent no more. And so they giving the child away.
That's true. And that me said, like, enough people want like they want that life, but they don't want the responsibility. That's one of the things we say. Because the responsibility is to make sure that you train your kids them with enough knowledge. So them can everything where all of them old videos there with everything, that was always the goal. To educate your kids, make them understand what life is all about. But I tell you, say change when kids start having kids and giving kids the privilege that kids are not supposed to have. So I'm gonna say it's not just we blame it on everybody else. It's part of our job to be better people in general and in advance. As we proceed, people.
5 or 6 years, they decide, I don't want to be no parent no more. And so they giving the child away to the father. And then sometimes the fathers are trying to get their children, and you all have a very difficult time because the enemy don't want you to be able to do that, be involved with that, because they are so used to pretending that they're on our side. They're not on our side. The white woman is not on our side because we also think that she's nicer, it's better to deal with her. That's his mother. She's not on our side.
I was going to ask.
That's his mama.
There is the idea floating around, guys. I know interracial dating for numerous reasons. So I'm not saying every black man with a white woman has a views the white woman as superior. I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's the case. So I won't say that publicly, right? But there is an idea circulating that white women are nicer than black women.
Well, they are, because they haven't gone through what we have. They don't have the history we have. Why shouldn't she be nice? I remember one time I was in New Orleans doing a program, and we came out of this restaurant, and there was a white woman sitting on the curb, middle-aged white woman, and she was begging for change and everything. I said, I'm not giving you nothing. You a white woman. You got everything at your disposal that you could have in this country, and you sitting out here begging. And I told my party, don't give her nothing. I said, y'all just need to get up and go somewhere and clean yourself up and be white, and you'll get something going. All right. If not, if one of these stupid Negroes will get with you, but you got to clean up and do better than that. I say, but so she has certainly a better opportunity. Now, lower class white woman is not going to agree with that. She thinks she's having it as hard as black people. In fact, she thinks we the reason she has it hard. All right. But it's really not like that. That white privilege that they talk about is real. That's very real. And we practice a little of it with each other on the lighter skins and the darker skins. We ate every idea they fed us. We ate it, even though it was all against self. They taught us to want that.
Well, we hate Rastaman like hating Rastaman is not prejudice, right? We listen to the program where the lady say them never like the man until he clean up himself, and Bob Marley have to leave Jamaica because them never accept him. Or when him go foreign and come back, that time they accept him. So there's high level, low level of racism. It's just where you're at in the scale of it. That's it. As we proceed, people.
Even though it was all against self, they taught us to want that. And we still continuing to do that now. We have learned to practice the technology they practice. And so we have distrust of each other. You're going to trick me, or I'm going to trick you. Just all kind of nonsense that we cannot dig up out of it until we give them their God back. We can't do it. It's just impossible. You can't hold on to everything that they stand for and then say you're going to make a change, because everything that they stand for is designed to destroy us.
And using our standards based on their standards, I think is also a big.
Because they're not the same. They're not the same. Your nature's not the same as his. We keep pretending that they're human and have the natural feelings of sympathy and everything. They don't have none of that. It's not in them.
And that's what I'm talking about, people. Empathy, love, respect. All of them things are important, Everything I've listened to from all of them people, all them talk, from the porters who work on the train back in the days, or the mafia smile, through all of them tough situation there. And them still survive. Doctors, nurses, then complain about the same thing. But what we did have amongst all of that is respect amongst each other. As we proceed, people.
None of that. It's not in them. You have it in you. Nobody never saved nobody but you. And you have been beat down so discouraged that it's very difficult. But I want you to know that you will be the winner. You are the original man. God didn't make everybody and then make you. He made you first. And everybody was modeled after you on some level. Okay? That's real talk. That ain't to soothe your ego. These are actual facts that if we could get our men to understand and accept. And I know it don't look like it now. I know some of the guys in the gutter. I know some of them in prison. Some of them on drugs. Some of them out here acting ignorant. Some of them pretending to be a woman. But that does not change the foundation of who you are and who made you, who is on your side, and who will pay the enemy back for what he has done to us.
You were saying that one of the greatest threats to Black women is loneliness.
Yeah.
Right? Can you elaborate on that more?
Well, once again, you paraphrasing me, but yes.
Paraphrasing.
Because, I tell you, I have to say that
Paraphrasing.
because people go around saying I said all kind of things, and
You
I
didn't say
didn't
it.
say
I
that,
understand.
but it was something similar to that, okay? Well, because we can survive without a man. We do all the time, all over the country for years. We can survive without sexual intimacy. We can survive. We can make it. All right. But we're not satisfied. Okay. I'm not going to say happy because the word happy is not in the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, so it can't be that important. They made it important to us because we spend money for happiness. All right. And we think it's
boy, me talk about putting a date to a number and put a meaning and we spend money, right? Christmas, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Easter, all of them days there. So it's true. We spend for happiness. As we proceed, people.
pick out what they want to have happiness. All right. But as I said, peace is the number one thing that creates happiness and allows all of the other things to grow and happen. But we're very lonely because of our men being so discouraged right now. Okay. Some of our best brothers are in prison. Okay. They get a different education there. And we are struggling, of course, with the mental health issues that has been forced on you by living in a hostile environment your entire life. Okay. A personal rejection is very, very, that's hard to handle over the years. Many of you have been rejected by your father. Some of you have been rejected even by your mother and the entire society. That's very hard, and we don't consider that. Now, I know right now it looks like
See, mental health. We talk about that. Mental health. That space within us that gives us peace. Many people don't have that. As we proceed, people.
a harder time. But we ain't never had as hard a time as you because the enemy has always tried to take your place and make you look inadequate by giving us everything we need for us and our children to survive. So I looked at the television the other night, and that new guy at Swarmer Harmon, whatever his name is, that's running in the election, a Republican, he said that many of our women keep the man out of the home so that we can get certain benefits. I'm paraphrasing him, but that's what he said. And that is such a great lie. It was the white man's idea to put y'all out of the house. It wasn't our idea. We tried to keep you in there. We would hide you under the bed, in the closet. Anyway, we weren't trying to separate from you. Plus, if you got a whole project area with a lot of women and children, where do they think them children came from? Okay, there's some men in and out there some kind of way. So, this is a lie that they perpetrate. Now they're going to turn it back on us. This is how it's done. All right. The entire objective is to keep you and me apart. Whatever the risk is, whatever.
Okay, and the professor said that the doctor said that today in the earlier program when we did do. That was the main idea. Them sell off the kids here, sell off the woman there, sell off the man there. It's always been the same practice. As we proceed, people.
Upstairs. They would rather deal with that than allow us to get together. When I was young, they used to say that mafia stood for Mothers and Fathers in Association. I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense. All right? Because you can always do better with a helpmate. You can do better with peace. All right? That's the greatest inspiration.
Mother, father.
I know how it affects myself. As I've written books over the years, I couldn't do them if anything else was going on. If I was waiting to pay my taxes, or if I had to go to a doctor appointment or something at the school, I could not do anything until completely everything was out of my head, everything calmed down where I was at peace and I could.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna drop some late night, some 2:00, 3:00, late night when the whole world is quiet and we can just listen people And that I try to show you, boy, I'm gonna tell you, this is my first time listening to this lady. I googled her and everything. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about her already, but just listening to her talk, she's on one of the no nonsense them scene as we proceed.
And then the ideas could come in. And creativity is like that. As I said, I know that it's like that because it just coming to you, and then you have to get it out of you, no matter what it is. We are creative like that. We are just, as an example, the white art museums. There's nothing but nonsense in there. We know it's just pure silliness. That art they talk about is art makes no sense. Their paintings are all, it'll be maybe exactly like something. Now they like that realism because then they don't have to create nothing. Just paint the apple and there it is, and it's already an apple there. But it comes up out of you. You don't have to have that kind of inspiration. If you can get cooled out, it bothers you so long until you have to get it out.
Be unlimited, people. People, the reason why I love it, I'm just loving the way she just attacks straight. Because the energy in a way is just buckle up, ready for just take a pen, take a pencil, take a book and just start whatever it is. When you go back and look on it a couple of days or a week, or you will see just a glimpse of who you really are. And that's our greatness, Exactly how she explain it. As we proceed.
If you can get cooled out, it bothers you so long until you have to get it out. This is what creativity, this is how greatness works for us. And so many of us are so talented, so great, so wonderful. And we're different. We really are. Because you can see the way many of us wear our hair, the way many of us have a certain kind of nose, the way many of us wear certain jewelry. That's all different tribes. We wasn't one tribe that came to America. And so we have those things still in us.
And that's true. That me say. That's exactly what I say. We have similarities, man. And with similarities, the differences, we should not fight over the differences. And that me say, that's one of the, man, if we could understand that right there, so we don't all have to be the exact same. And that's why I always feel, say, even though I'm born in Jamaica and everything, right? I always look at things differently. From a little bit, I always look on things different. So we will proceed, people.
We have those things still in us. And we try to express them, even with the long hair. And I know that's not the best thing we need to do is to put all that different fake stuff in our hair. But who has been the model of beauty for the black woman in America? Who has been the model for hair for the black woman in America? The white woman. So we want our hair like hers. We want to mimic that. That was our model. And we don't we want to make it black colored hair. But then too, we got slews of black women who have blonde hair, who are getting skin lightness. The self-hate we have been taught, you almost can't how you quantify that. Okay, and the more false stuff we have on, the more we hate ourselves. That's what that shows. You even got the brothers now getting weaves and getting braids and everything. We are not making the kind of progress we think we are.
What do you say to people who always say we are making progress? People would love to say that we're making progress. Race is no longer an issue. People are.
You see, and who do you ask about progress, though? Because the people who you ask about progress, them probably rich, them probably have everything. But if you ask the people, them were in a certain community where never have light, never have water, right? The family where them house burn down because them have candle, right? You can't ask them people about progress and then tell us, yes, there's progress. Progress is for everybody, not just one, two people. That's not progress. That's riches. And that I'm telling you, say, oh, we just convoluted in how we talk. The understanding of it's not separated. Our mind is just one big blob of yes, 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 likes, likes, likes. It's not partition off to reasoning. Them not take nothing out of the ocean. Them just are going to the ocean and I grab anything. As we proceed, people, with education and knowledge.
Making progress. Race is no longer an issue. People are doing great.
What is no longer an issue?
People say race is no
Oh,
longer an
that's
issue.
crazy. That's ridiculous.
I know
Race is
I know
no
you
longer
heard
an
that one.
issue. Race is the only issue, and everything else just was lined up after that. But I have talked with people uh, who have a similar idea that things are so much better now. Well, it depends on what kind of equation you're setting up. If you're saying that they're not coming to our door at night, pulling us out, lynching us, they don't do that as much. They still do it. They just call it the police and that it's legal. These things are still happening. As I say, we're living in a hostile environment. And a friend of mine, you imagine?
Yo, me definitely have to go find that book then. Me tell people, look all the way. Me definitely I love to have a library with all of them great books here where these people write and all of these controversy and stuff. I'd love to me personally read them book there so so I'm gonna have a book fund. We have an African fund already. Figure Africa, don't forget. And them great book here where them people write. They need to be part of the library. The man say you need to get one of them IKEA something there and set it up and start by educational book. Right, people? As we proceed.
in a hostile environment. And a friend of mine once told me, we're trying to normalize our captivity. We're trying to act like it's okay. It's okay. I'm all right. Everything's fine. I got a job. I got an apartment. I got a car. I'm going on vacation. We having a family reunion. What, to celebrate your slave master's name? We can't say that a name is not important. If it hadn't been important, they wouldn't have took it from us. Everything was geared to control us and turn us into a slave for them.
When did you change your name and how liberating was it?
My first husband, Brother Solomon, named me, and that was in 1967. He said, Shahrazad, and I turned around. Okay? He said, that's you. And as the history turned out, as we studied it, Shahrazad really means tranquility. Now, I know y'all don't think I'm tranquil, but I am. I really am. And she was the one that wrote the stories.
Other people's opinion doesn't matter. It's what you think about yourself at all times. I mean, I always do that thing for change my name, anyways. Just to just to throw that out there. Cause I'm telling you, I listen to Muta all the time. And Muta, I'm gonna say, yeah, man, that name they sound good. That name they, and then he tell you the meaning of the name, and that's the thing. Them a name and no meaning. It's just a name where they give it. As we proceed, people.
He was the one that wrote the stories. Okay, and at that time, at first I was trying to be a poet, incidentally. Okay, because it's a good way to express you. I advise anybody that wants to do some write some poetry, but don't try to make everybody else enjoy it. You just write it for yourself. It's the way.
Yes, you see, write a poem for yourself. Write something for yourself, people. I'm telling you, just writing something means something. It means if it's written somebody out there is gonna read it, right? Because again, as you can see, me not have thousands and thousands of followers, but I still have views. People still watch and listen. Thank you, people. As we proceed with the write something, I mean, write something. Words, people, words.
Nobody else enjoy it. You just write it for yourself. It's the way to purge. And I sent my poetry to the messenger, to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was responsible for my career, me writing all my books and everything. I sent it to him. I was so proud. I sent him about 2 poems. He sent me, at that time, you could write to the messenger. He would answer your questions and send you a letter back.
How did that make you feel when you responded?
Oh, it was just wonderful. Oh, I was just trembling. Of course, I can't find the letter. I was showing it to somebody about 20 years ago and it disappeared. But at any rate, he wrote me back one line in the letter. He said, "Dear Sister Shahrazad, I am not concerned with poetry." That was the last poem I wrote. That was the end of that. Oh, I was so embarrassed to myself, and that's in one of our prayers. And that should be in some of all of our people's prayers. We have one line in there that says, "I have been greatly unjust to myself." So when we're doing evil, when we're doing something bad, or it may look like physically that we're doing it to that person or some other organization, but you're really doing that to yourself.
That is so true. And that's one of the things we say, how can you hate somebody? I keep on asking, how can you hate somebody without hating yourself? The number one person where the hater come from is you. There's no way, right? You can't hate somebody and not hate yourself. That's why I'm saying you don't like what a person do, but you can't hate a person just because you like because of what them do. Hate is a strong thing. That's why I'm telling you, so that should be one of the word should be blasphemy. I call it shouldn't be used as we proceed, people. That lady, I know she's fiery.
That to yourself. You don't have to believe in God, because God believes in you. Okay? And we practice certain kinds of evil in private and in public, and we make excuses for doing it, and we are just being greatly unjust to ourselves. Yeah. But back to the poetry. So I didn't write another poem. And then over the years, I decided to do other writing, and that's how I started writing books.
Did you ever try shopping the book around to publishers?
Oh, yeah. I sent with How Not to Eat Pork, I sent it out to about 100 different publishers, and they all told me no. See,
because you're going to send a book to people who eat pork and tell them to publish how not to eat pork. People, that not gonna work for real. That's like telling the butcher how not to kill a cow. No, go on, lady, go on. No, sir. Sometimes we're telling us that the people a story.
Publishers, and they all told me no. See, at the time that I wrote a book, your book was not considered authentic unless a publisher had enough confidence in you to publish your book. Self-publishing was down. Nobody wanted to do it, and they wouldn't recognize your book in a bookstore. You couldn't sell it to them. I mean, this is how it was. Y'all wasn't around. You don't remember, but that's the way it was. You couldn't do a book. And so finally, one publisher said that they would do my book. But the book, of course, they were a white big publisher, and How Not to Eat Pork. But the book wasn't but $6 then, or $5 or something. And they were going to give me like 50 cents a book. I say, well, then who get the other $5 and 50 cents? If I'm only going to get 10%, 50 cents per book, and they was going to get $5.50. The devil told me, he said, well, we're going to publish the book. We're going to get your copyright. We're going to get your ISBN number, and we're going to get your Library of Congress number. I wrote down everything he said. I went back to school and studied how to be a publisher. And so then I started paying the printer 50 cents. And I got the $5.50. I was able to mathematically turn that around. Okay. And that got me into publishing because I recognized.
Genius. I don't want to tell you something. You get 50 cents, we get $4.50. So people were telling us from all the till now, it's always a battle for what you have. It's always a battle for what you have. It's always a hustle. Hustling you for your talent, for your skills, for anything where you have. Imagine that. The lady said she could study and pay the printer 50 cents and she get 450 out of it. That's why I say if it's worth that much to them, it's worth the same to you. As we proceed, people, this lady.
Because I recognized, and I am, so we can have it on the record, the mother of the Black Book explosion of the 90s. Okay, you can go into any bookstore, any library, and find any Black book written by anybody, because the market is flooded and they were all writing. And all of them will be predated before 1989. And that's not to brag, that's just to set the history straight. Since the people in the publishing business here in America, most of them ignore me because not because my books are not interesting and good, but because of my topics. They do not accept that because it affects them too. You know, I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about us. All right. And so that's how I decided to do my own and become my own publisher, my own publishing company. And of course, it took about 4 or 5 years for the publishing industry to catch up on it. Because at that time, of course, the saying was, and it probably still is, that if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book.
And I told you about what the professor said about that too. And it's not true, because some of the most brilliant, I'm telling us that them things that if we say them things that should be blasphemy too, because that's not true. All at one month, may I highlight some great scientists, all of the great people them. People write book, people. So how can that be possible? Eh? When we are talking about people greatness. Eh? I said the propaganda, man, just the propaganda, just a lie. Just a lie.
Put it in a book. Remember that? Yeah. And so I proved that wrong.
We always prove
because
that wrong.
Black men across the entire country and all the prisons and all the everything were reading the Black Man's Guide. So I really uncovered a market that I had tried to design to set us up in different businesses, which it did. Hundreds of Black bookstores opened up just selling one book. My book.
How did it spread across the country? Did you have to go places? Was it just word of mouth, or you buy an advertisement?
A lot of it was word of mouth. Bookstores have, their own group too, like every other business. And so they would tell each other. And I put it in New York first. See, because if you can take New York, you can take anything. Okay. And then I went and appeared at what's that stage they have up there? Showtime at the Apollo. Okay, they had a radio show with Gary Bird up in the daytime. And so people started driving up in their cars, parking anywhere to come into the auditorium to hear me talking about what I was talking about, So then it started to explode from that. I didn't take my book to white people. They came to me and said, what is going on? Because we were doing something that they were not involved in and weren't in charge of. Did nobody get paid off of my book when it came out but UPS? I had a Black printer. I had Black people working in my office. My Black accountant, everything was Black. The only people that was white in my business was UPS because they had to ship the books to all the different places.
Where did your oratory skills come from?
From the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Although in high school, now I was speaking then too. So I had that in me. I didn't know where it came from because I hadn't been around anybody that I had heard, ever talk, and other than say maybe the preacher or something, And my mother was not an avid churchgoer, so we didn't go that much anyway. But I hadn't heard a lot of people talking in that way or getting up, speaking too much. But I was attracted to it.
I'm telling you, this lady is just straight up. This lady is just straight up and honest. For real. I forget one of her book them. I'm gonna tell you some. The things that she did married to. Well, she know Elijah Muhammad, right? So obviously she dressed up in the the attire them. So I guess she's a Muslim then. But she just a straight. I forgot to do some research in a part two because I see a couple more videos of her, and again there's controversy about everybody, right? And again, more that do the controversy on her, and then as we proceed, people.
I was attracted to it because in high school I was writing plays. If we had a school play,
So you've been doing
I
it.
would write the dramatic play or the comedy. I was writing a lot of comedies. So I was doing some stuff like that. But I didn't know where it would lead. I guess you don't know, when you start out. But I know I liked books. I would go to the library and I would walk down the rows touching every book. I was not just intrigued with the writing of a book. I was intrigued with the physical components of the book, the cover, the spine, the different things. And I would touch the pages. And I recognized very early on that a book is a canvas. And I didn't have to do it like they did it. And so my books got all kind of drawings and pictures and all kind of stuff in them because I could put you can put anything you want to put on every page.
Give it that flavor.
They don't set the standard. They didn't write no first books.
All right. What was the process like getting on talk shows in the 90s?
I'm not telling y'all all of that. No, I'm not going to tell y'all all of that. So y'all can go harass everybody trying to get on their show now.
All right.
That's my marketing information.
All right. Cool.
Well, we have been taught that.
People, I said this lady is very interesting. You know what I say? Knowledge, right, is for share. And you see them people here? We hear about these people, but we don't hear their stories, right? And the struggle with them go through. As we proceed, people.
Well, we have been taught that. It's like people that don't have shoes. They'll say, I don't like shoes. They don't have no shoes, ooh, I don't like jewelry because they don't have any jewelry. So all of that, I don't need no man, I don't want no man, it's because we don't have no man. Okay. And it's hard for us not to have a man because we try everything that we can think of. We wear anything that we can think of. We'll do anything that we can think of to get a man. So those of us who don't have a man, we just have either exhausted all of our ideas or we have just decided I'm not doing that just to get no man or whatever, okay? But we all want a man. We all want a man, and most of us all want at least one baby. Those are things that we do want. And we still are laboring under the misinformation that if we can get a man to get us pregnant, that we'll have some kind of hold on him to control him. And that idea has never worked, but we still keep trying it.
That's what I don't understand. Like, people have observed what goes on in our culture, right? But a lot of women still have this idea like they're going to trap a man with a kid.
Yeah, we do. And it's really, as I said, that's one of the reasons men have to be taught fatherhood too. Because the system that we have practiced in this country is that when you quit the woman, you quit your children too. Okay. And because the rules of child support, are so damaging to our men. If, as an example, if a man is making $2,000 a month take home pay, that's realistic right here today. Okay. And if his child support, if he got 2 or 3 children, or 2, 1, whatever, his child support is $500 or $600 a month, and his rent is $1,000 a month. See, so it's a non-sustainable system if we want our men to be involved in their children's lives, because our men use a lot of excuses not to pay, even a little bit. Some of our men buy clothes and stuff, and they think that's child support. Some of our men just completely disappear. Some of them won't work at all because they know if they work, they're going to have to pay that money for child support. So that is one of the ways that we kind of get you back, because there are other ways to do that would keep you out of the system and you all would be able to co-parent. However, we need teachers on how to co-parent.
I was going to ask you that.
We don't know how to do that. We don't know how to cohabit with each other. Okay. So we don't know how to co-parent. Anything that's co means unity. We don't know how to practice none of that. Okay. So we need to have teachers or somebody to come up with some kind of program or brochure or something about how to co-parent without the enemy in the middle of it.
Would you be able to provide any advice to anyone in regards to co-parenting? Because people seem to just that anger they have for the other person blinds them
Yes.
in regards to what's important
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
child.
Yeah. We'll punish you with the baby. And as I said, I've said this years ago and it created a new dialogue about it that if we mad with you, we won't even let you see the baby. If you don't give us money, we won't even let you see your own child. That's not punishing you because you going on about your business. It's punishing the child. That's who's being robbed in the situation. And as an example, I've noticed a trend that when you hear the white women getting pregnant on television and so forth, they'll say, "We're pregnant." I've even heard their men say, "We're pregnant." Okay. We say, "Where's my son? Where's my daughter?" Okay. And I know we real tough, but we can't have no baby by ourselves. It's just not gonna. It has never flown in that way. So I think that that's something that we could sit down and just talk about. I know we mad, but we got to do this different. Or write it to the person, and we especially get angry if you get with another woman because we'll say, "I don't want my child around your other woman." Well, you are more capable to protect the child than we are. You can protect your child better from a woman than we can protect ours from a man. You know, and you have to look out for the daughters and the sons now. It's not just uh,
That's what I learned from
just the little
teaching.
girls anymore because the situation has gotten just so perverted out here, and our men also don't have the discipline to not be dealing with young girls. Okay, but how many behinds can you look at? And that turn you on. And so what happens is that our men sometimes, I know I'm talking a lot of different things, but this is important too. A lot of our men are going after the younger girls because she stimulates them more than another sister with her butt out. It's just enough, and every market can get saturated. Okay,
Desensitize. I'm gonna tell you something. I did learn that way back. I did understand what desensitizing means. When our mind just get used to it, we just accept the things that we're not supposed to accept. That's why I say it's the music, all of them part of it, right? The professor said that already, ever since hip hop come in with the gangster rap and the disrespecting woman. And the same thing happened to reggae music. As we proceed, Professor.
saturated. Okay, the crack market and what that did to our people, and even now in our schools, we are dealing with the children, great grandchildren, and great great grandchildren of crackheads of the 80s and 70s. Okay, and our children, maybe who we have tried to raise up in a more normal environment, are out here trying to mate with these people that's crazy, emotionally blown, a lot of things. And so that's a problem we're dealing with too that we're not addressing. We're acting like that this just, we didn't study that because they didn't care about us enough to study that. If it had been their children, they'd have studied that. What is the connection 40 years later to what happened there? These are the people that don't want us to deal with our history. But all they talk about is remember the Alamo, remember Pearl Harbor, remember 911. I mean, they want to remember everything. They have a history and they teach it to their children. And unfortunately, they teach it to ours.
Another topic I want to touch on is this idea that if the woman earns more than the man, she should be the head of the household and make decisions in the household. How detrimental is that?
Oh, of course, that's a problem because we have been you know, trained and taught that money is God. We respect.
There you go. I told you guys, that's an issue to talk about too. Or people worship money like say money is God. And once money become God, that means there is no God. Once money become God, there is no God. I say that. Go and speak, lady.
More if they have a lot of money. They special.
regardless of how they got the money or the
Yeah,
character.
yeah, it don't matter. If they got a lot of money, we'll cater to them. In fact, you get more gifts and stuff with money than if you don't have no money. Because people want to give something to somebody, This seems to be the way it is. I used to travel sometime and I would have to pack my staff would put a separate box for all the gifts the people in the audience would bring me. You know, that's how we are trained, that you are what you own, not how you act or what you do, how supportive you are, uh, just whatever you got that makes you greater and above the people. And that's not good. But we practice, the big I and the little U. Messenger said that in Islam, and it wasn't supposed to be no big I's and little U's. It's supposed to have equality.
Do you feel like how would I say this? How would people restructure, not restructuring the home, but restructuring their mind frame to understand that despite certain men's inability to make as much as women, they still can lead a household?
Well, there'd be so many other layers of that you'd have to correct, because men have historically sometimes treated us kind of funny if they was the major breadwinner. And so we think that that's the pattern. That's what's been modeled for us. And so we're supposed to do that. And so we behave. But that would have to be a discussion that came up way before then. Because sometimes some of them, them leaf raking and boot dusting jobs are gone pretty much. And so if a person has one of them big jobs, you don't have the kind of security that people once used to think they had on a big paying job. You could be let go because so much of it is technical now in a month, in a day, in a week, and your whole lifestyle change because we want to adorn ourselves with the material things that we don't make. We don't get no profit off of it. But we want to adorn ourselves with those things that say, look at me, I'm rich, I'm successful, look what I got. Okay. Many of us have houses way bigger than what we need. That money. We got over 500,000 Black children in foster care who need help, who need support. We got several brothers out there now trying to have schools, trying to work with these Black boys and the Black girls. They need help. We have and I'm not telling nobody to give away everything they got or not to like nice things, but we didn't know there was things that was called nice until they showed them to us because we don't have nothing. Every school we got is financed by them. Every college we got is financed by them. We don't have nothing compared to a time when we didn't have nearly the kind of money that we got now when we had our own schools. We had our own railroads, our own law schools. We had our own cemeteries. We had our own stores and service centers and all of those things. And I'm not saying we have to reproduce that now because white people have made it through their chains of different businesses that is simpler to go to them. All of it leads back to that we have to do the work for ourselves. And it's nothing that's going to, I'm going to tell you what we're getting ready to see. All of those people that's coming over here now, the immigrants and so forth, just like a lot of the Asians and Latinos and other people have already done, they come here and in a couple of years, they're opening up a business. See, it's not in a vacuum that everybody know how to do something for themselves but us. That was intentional. And it's passed down each generation. When our men started working, we used to work at the post office and be a nurse and work at General Motors. Well, those are big time jobs for us to get the things that they told us was important. And that we like shiny things, new things. It would take a special groups. The stores that say we had in Chicago, which they call headquarters, where the messenger was, we didn't. The Nation of Islam.
That's true. I tell you, say everything with it own store, all of them things there. Like who own businesses with it have all of those stuff. Community was the key to our success. Unity. I tell you, say now people are rich. Nobody not care about them. It does them things that doesn't matter. Talk about them people that have so much money and I do the things them. And I make no sense. It's crazy. And a true thing, we don't want nothing for real. And I thought to my nephew about the university that we used to have. The story them man, them story are some real story. We not pay attention to. As we proceed, people, tell us our education, a class we in a class for an hour or 2 hours. Are things where we can always listen to and go listen to again, and we can always share them things or share the channel them. As I tell you, so when I look on YouTube and see the people them on the platform are the same thing. Them now the things them where them highlight. Now have nothing to do with we. Right? And again, we can't argue with what a person does or people do. But when you look upon it, what's the agenda? As we proceed, people, because I tell you, say them people are way smarter than me. That's why I say I like listen to these people and highlight these people.
We have today and all those other different little nations of Islam and Muhammad's temples around the country, they don't have 10% of what the messenger taught us to do in Chicago and in other cities. You had blocks and blocks of Muslim businesses. People trying to do something for themselves that they could control. They knew they had to get up in the morning. They didn't really need nobody to tell them get up before you be late. When you talk about your job, you don't have to say, yeah, my boss, because you the boss. You know, all of those things. That hasn't been rebuilt. There's a lot of people there. So where the donations going? Where's the money at? What do we have to show for the money? I'm not talking about no big cars for whoever the leader say he is. I'm not talking about big vacations. I'm not talking about all those things. But what do we have to show for what we pay? Everywhere. What do we have to show? All of us can't go into the incense business.
This lady a fire shot. For real. Because that's one of the things any man do in business. 10 people are do the same business. But I tell you, say, we can diverse. Yo, people. Oh. I tell you, say, it's not just outside forces that makes us not who we are. It's inside forces too. As we proceed, people.
You know, we can't all sell shea butter. There are a lot of other things, services that we use. Yeah. But because they took that drive out of us, we don't want to do that. We think it's too far away. And there's people still starting, Ava and them starting in the basement of their house. People are still doing that on different things. You know, I didn't have anything but a typewriter and a ream of paper.
You had that fire and you had to teach them.
But if you have an idea and you have the drive and you want to do that, you can do that. The messenger didn't give us nothing to do that's impossible. Okay? And he didn't teach us that you're going to die and come back alive and that one day you're going to see your loved one. No, you're not. I understand that that's easier to believe. One day I'll see you again. We'll be together. No, you're not. Death is the end. The messenger said the only way to avoid death is not to be born. Because if you're born, you're going to die. And you're going back to the earth where everything else came from. Everything that's up here, where we're around, everything in here is just a higher or lower form of life from the earth. That's hard to accept. Because
that's not hard to accept because that's life. I tell you, when you look on photosynthesis, okay, me see it like dirt, like the plant, the food that we eat is dirt. It just comes in our acceptable shape to our mind, right? All of these things, me tell you, because once you understand certain things, these things are not, it's only the people that don't understand and try to hold on to them existence without existing. It's creating stuff. Your unlimited ability is shared with others. So other people can be inspired. That's why I'm gonna say everybody when we talk about for the whole month, everybody who me highlight, who me read about, these people, them shape the universe. They shape the universe with their energy. Them produce something that it lives on. Just like Bob Marley, right? Bob Marley energy shape the universe too. And them people here, them shape the universe, but them not get highlighted, them not get recognized, but they must be recognized and highlighted. As we proceed.
yeah, because I said it's easy to say one day we'll be together. And well, we don't teach that kind of nonsense. We do not believe in no life after death, even though it sounds, that's once again some more of that imagination of truth. That's not true. That's not an insult to anybody. It just is not an actual fact.
In your books, interviews, and lectures, you have spoken very highly of Elijah Muhammad. Do you believe the movie Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad's lack of charisma is the reason he does not get the acknowledgement for the great work he did?
I have to see how to answer that. No. One of the problems that we have as a people, and I have this when I travel around this country and outside the country, is that we want knowledge to be entertaining because that's how we've been trained in this country. Remember, one of the first things they had us do was sports and entertainment. And so that's what we want in order to sometimes accept certain information. We want people to wear a certain type of clothes. We want them to, have their hair a certain way, and we want them to sound a certain way, and all of these things, and look a certain way. And so I don't think that the problem, if you're asking about that Malcolm had, okay.
No, I was saying with the movie because in the movie the part that they show for Elijah, I always wondered about this in the movie Malcolm X, right? When it came to
Well,
Elijah
now that was
Muhammad,
a docudrama, brother.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't history.
That's
That
what-
wasn't the truth.
Now I was saying, do you
Yeah.
think that hurt his image because they didn't highlight the work that he did? They more focused as him being a jealous person. They didn't
Well, yeah,
acknowledge-
well, that's not true. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't have any reason to be jealous of any of us, and he made Malcolm, Muhammad Ali, Khalid Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, and Shahrazad Ali. Okay, we're the people that our people admire and respect, even though they don't accept what we believe. All right. And since Dr. Elijah Muhammad gave us something to talk about and taught us how to be free to talk and to tell the truth about our history and things here, people think that means that his charisma or his lack of charisma, those of us who believed his teachings, we didn't look at him in that same way. Okay. But as I said, because most of us have been trained for knowledge to come to us as entertainment. That's how we feel.
People, you see, if it's not entertainment, we don't want it. We don't want it, people. We don't want it, people. We don't want it. If it's not entertainment. That's why I say all of them people here, what I highlight. This one I say it's not about having 10 million followers and not do the right things, you know. It's about having the worth of to focus on what you're supposed to focus on. Entertainment and sports, people, the two things where make we just pay attention to nothing. It's true. Cause me I stop watch sports, man, telling you. Now me just check the stats. The same thing as watching hours and hours of sports, right? As we proceed, people.
That's how we feel. He taught Malcolm and Mr. Farrakhan, all of us, to be fabulous talkers. Back in the day, it used to be called rappers, believe it or not. Again, they say he could rap. In fact, we had Rap Brown, you know, and everything, because we could talk and we had things to say. We had information that the majority of our people didn't have. But Malcolm, like most of us, you know, he had a Lena Horne, Red Fox, Sam Cooke, all of them were whispering in his ear, get rid of the old man. You don't need him. You can be great on your own. But he was the teacher. And that's what knowledge, great knowledge does, the supreme wisdom. It makes us think, because the people admire it so much, it makes us start to think that we came up with that idea and that information and that it is actually ours. And so they were telling Malcolm things and pumping him up on certain ideas that he could be independent and greater than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm had very low self-esteem. And so his wife was not good to him.
Jeez. Now we are hear them story. People, for sure some never know that. Oh, people, we're in class because we have class, okay? You're school, but we have class. All right, people? So make the class. Make the teacher go and talk in the class.
Had put certain charges on him just in their private life, and he would write to Honorable Elijah Muhammad about those issues. And there's some letters floating around out there now about his problems with his wife and him not being able to understand certain things in relationships. He was no different than the rest of us. He was a great speaker. I'll never take that from him. Muhammad Ali was a great speaker, you know, and but he gave us some knowledge to talk about. As I said, we didn't have nothing to talk about, which is why most of my people don't have nothing to talk about.
What was your first exposure to Elijah Muhammad?
Oh, this is going back. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Before she continue, people, I don't know. Say, for conversate, it takes a lot for you to have a conversation with a person without, you know. Nowadays, it's not. I tell you, say it's not conversation anymore. It's arguing. So it takes a lot for have a conversation especially in front of people, lots of people, and these people were the master of getting their point across and educating people and all of those stuff. And listening to this lady, I can tell say she's a good speaker too. As we proceed, people.
Y'all probably weren't even born. Back in 1966, I was dealing with SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and I was dealing in different organizations, the Panthers. I was checking out things. I was trying to find myself because that was an exciting time. You know, the Black people were finding out we were Black. and we were wearing our hair certain ways and dressing in certain.
Here. Yes, you come back again today. No, we don't know here. No, we don't know here. We just accept. We just love a lady. We have our real here, right? Respect a woman totally. You know, take care of her real here. Me not disrespect nobody, but I'm just saying a lady with her real here. Much love, much respect. 20 people unsubscribing. Just saying, people, just saying.
Ways and dressing in certain colors and certain styles. And so I was out there too, trying to find myself because I had always been a creative person. And I had started going around checking out different things. And then one day, a sister friend of mine uh, invited me to the temple. And so when I went in there, the first thing I saw was just all of them big fine brothers, and the FOI, the fruit of Islam. And I saw all of them. And I listened to the minister there, who was the minister David Bacha, here in Cincinnati, number 5. That's where I came in. And it just rang in my head, in my ear. I said, oh, yeah, that's it. Right, right. And I found myself agreeing with the information he was teaching about, even though I was not a Muslim then, you know. And that's how I met the teachings of our Elijah Muhammad.
What was the backlash like? Because in that environment, it's Christian-minded people. Christianity is the dominant ideology. So how did people respond to you when you said you were interested or joining the Nation of Islam?
Well, at that time, you know, one of the things that white people in their media has been able to do is to make us resistant to resistance. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want anything different. We want to hold on to what we have. And we tend to believe that the white people lied to us about everything but God. But they lied about that too. They lied about everything in order to control us and keep us subservient to them. And so I didn't have as much problem, believe it or not, about saying that I'm into Islam, I'm, you know, involved with that, as I did about announcing to everybody that I wasn't eating pork no more. That was the problem. Okay, you can stop doing anything, but once you start telling some other Negroes you don't eat hog no more, oh, you're gonna have a real problem because we have been taught to be addicted to that. We think eating pork is part of our cultural background. That's why we serve it at barbecues and we make eating chitlins a big festival and all kind of nonsense. We don't even know that there's a difference between pork and ham. We think that it's two different things. And it's not, but this is the confusion. And I remember Elijah Muhammad teaching once that if you didn't buy it, they'd give it to you free. And they're doing that today. They're giving it to all the people in the shelters, all of the people that go to the pantries. They're giving it away free. And I said, look at that. They're doing exactly what he taught. And so that was where my problem came from. And of course, my mother was a great Christian. And then I had met a wonderful, beautiful brother who ended up being my mentor and teacher. Brother Solomon Ali, who was my first husband. And he was teaching me. You know, we don't have, actually, contrary to what people say, we don't have no women and no men different teachings in regard to the studies of Islam. Okay, not behavior, but in regard to the studies of Islam. And so he was teaching me that day and night. That's true. And I was getting it. I was getting it. And my mother didn't like him, of course, because he had brought me a new idea, you know. And he and my father got along. It's interesting.
Was your father deep in Christianity like your mother?
He wasn't really into anything that I ever saw him kind of do in that way, but he was interested in Islam. And then he died.
I have one more person I want to speak about that history seems to have forgotten about, Noble Drew Ali. Mm-hmm. Can you share some of the great things in his influence on the Nation of Islam?
I don't know what kind of influence he had on it. A lot of the brothers back then were in the Savior's class. And so a lot of them heard information. Dad of Grace, a lot of different people, you know, were listening to what he taught because the teachings that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought us are called the supreme wisdom because there's nothing over that. I've sat in the room with doctors and lawyers and PhDs and everything you can imagine, but I can hold my own. I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a PhD, but I have what he told us was the supreme wisdom. So I'm able to dialogue with them and surpass the little knowledge that they have, because most of the knowledge that we have comes from out of the white man's head and out of his books. Okay.
What were some of the books you guys were reading back then?
That we were reading back then?
Yeah.
We read Message to the Black Man, but prior to that, we just had information of where the messenger had written in newspapers, or you'd go to a temple and hear that local minister teach and so forth. But other than the Quran, I don't remember any other books that he gave us to read. He told us about books. Oh, there are hundreds and thousands of different books. And he told us about books that were in the Library of Congress that many of us that we needed to read and so forth. But I don't know anybody who ever did that. But we did get our information from him. And then, of course, after Message to the Black Man came out, then we were really able, to have it all in one place where we could study that.
How big was it when that book came out?
Sir?
How big was it when that book came out?
How big was the book?
No, how big was it in regards to the response of the people?
Oh, please.
It's still changing lives to this day,
Huge. And then, of course, we had How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2, The Fall of America, which I recommend everyone in America read, The Fall of America. And Our Savior Has Arrived, And every year, Savior's Day, he would give everyone a free book, one of his books.
That's wild. I know you gave out free books.
As a souvenir, and he would bless us with that. And it wasn't as exorbitant as things are now. When you go to Savior's Day, you got to have thousands of dollars almost, because times have changed, and the people that's pimping Islam is asking for more money. A lot of the things that Elijah Muhammad taught back then were rejected, mocked, and ridiculed. Okay? He taught us about fasting. So what are they recommending that people do today? Fast. What are they recommending? Stop eating so much. Eat one meal a day. Okay? Don't eat meat. Okay? And he had the same problem with the schools. He was jailed by the enemy because he would refuse to send his children to the white people's public schools, which has destroyed our children. We the only people on the earth who send their children to the enemy to educate them. That hasn't worked for us or for our children. And so he said that the children need to be boys and girls in separate classes. He said they need to wear uniforms. Yeah, yes. He said, and they need to be homeschooled. Those are the 3 most popular things in America today. That's what people are doing. They're turning more and more to homeschooling. It's actually more now, they're saying, than in the public schools, because the public education has failed. The purpose of education is to civilize a people. But if you are not taught the principles that teach you and guide you into civilization, it's just another process that they use to keep a job and insurance and everything for their families, because it has not benefited us. And in the past 20 years, it's gotten worse and worse and so forth. But all of the things that he has taught about have come around to be what makes the most sense, scientifically proven to be effective, has been to his teachings. People are doing it now, but they don't give him credit. The only reason Elijah Muhammad never got the credit and the recognition and the belief that he deserved is because he taught that the white man is a devil. So that meant that the white woman was too. And black men and black women were not going to accept that part. Oh, they might have stopped smoking. They might have stopped eating pork. But when you start talking about you got to stay away from the enemy and do something for yourself, nobody wanted that. And that's even similar to today. Well, everybody knows that I'm a believer in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, not Minister Farrakhan, not any of those other people out there that's trying to give their idea and who have changed his teachings. When he had told us explicitly, if Allah should take me and I should die, that does not mean that what I have taught you is false. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. All right. But many of our people, as I said, all that adoration and clapping and applause and jumping up, you have to be very careful with that because it is such an ego boost and it is such a thrill that you start to really believing, boy, I must be great. I am great. Okay? And you can't take that for yourself. Mr. Farrakhan shouldn't have took it for himself because it didn't belong to him to go in and start changing the teachings around based on his limited understanding of what the messenger taught. Okay? So that was wrong to do that. And so as a result of that, we do have Muslims in America today, but the Muslims are not known for a certain kind of progress. They're known for dressing a certain way or selling a bean pie or wearing a bow tie and attending a temple and doing things like that. But the principles that he taught us about raising our children, he had the only religion that taught you something about raising your children. All the other religions just teach you about Jesus and they teach you about whatever their concept is about a supreme being. But they don't teach you how to rear your children. They don't teach you how to eat in your home. See, the messenger didn't give us a religion, he gave us a way of life. It has been the most wonderful thing for me. I am into the fourth generation. I have a great grandson that's 2.5, and he say Assalamu alaikum. Okay. So, this is, I believe this. A mother will not teach her child something she does not believe. All right. So that's why a lot of our children are running wild because you can get into certain religions, even the Arab religion in the East, you can get into those and they'll give you a lot of different activities, rituals, costumes. They give you all of that, but they don't work as hard to make you straighten yourself up. The messenger said, the temple I'm asking you to clean up and make ready is your own, yourself.
And
see, now you done got me started. No. That's not what I.
No, the thing though, another aspect too, I think why people wouldn't want to go there is a thing called accountability. You're asked to do something with yourself and improve, compared to Christianity where you're looking outside of yourself for someone to do something for you. So I think that's another reason to kind of deter people from the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, because there's accountability.
Well, of course, that's what I had said earlier. We don't want to have to deal with self. We are so sensitive because we too, all of us have low self-esteem. The greatness of you has been repressed. The entire history we've been here. And I say all the time, it took us 500 or 600 years to get in this condition. It might take us 500 or 600 more to get out if the civilization lasts that long, and that's debatable too. But we have been taught to be dependent. He is the only one that taught us that profit was better than wages. You can't get rich working by the hour.
And I said that. That's one of the things. I always said that already. Oh my goodness. Some tell us that people out there make sense. These people are actually making sense. But them people are not get highlight. Again, if you agree with everything with the people them say no, just have to know say what they say makes sense. As we proceed, people.
You can't get rich working by the hour. You can sustain yourself, but that system is one designed to have you go and work for the enemy, get paid for it, and then give it right back to him. There's no stop in between that for you to do something for yourself, even though we think getting clothes and a car and a house or something is doing something for ourselves. But that's very limited, that's very small, and it does not allow us to benefit from the greatness that we have and the creativity and the knowledge and just the pure goodness and righteousness that we have in us that has been camouflaged by the nonsense that the enemy has taught us. And so that everybody on earth think we are fools.
Nonsense, I tell you, nonsense. People, I'm just saying to take back the veil and analyze certain things. This one I say, for greatness we not see. I'm gonna tell you, say this month a black strength, honor, dignity, highlight by morals. And all of them people, the strength, honor, the dignity, the morals, the honesty, the true love, When you hear the people them talk, from you hear them great people talk and people talk about the great people them. Aspirations. As we proceed, people, as we proceed.
What is required at the individual, family, and community level for Black Americans to eradicate the racial wealth gap that is prevalent in the U.S. and hence improve their health and social outcomes?
Nothing. There's nothing we can do about their condition. We can't even do nothing about our condition. Yeah. We say that as Black women that we know how to raise a son, we can raise a boy, we can maintain him and grow him up and feed him and all of that. But we can't make no man. Look at our girls, and they just like us. We all females, and look at their condition. We can't make them, not with the same information that's out there. We need our men to start taking more charge of how their daughters are dressing, starting from a little girl. We need to start having a better diet. We need to figure out how to eat better so that we don't keep reproducing people who have those basic diseases, the high blood pressure and the diabetes. These things are killing us. Heart trouble, all of those things. That would change if we had a different diet, not a different medicine, just a different diet. And it's very difficult because they have so much food out here, but it's more chemical now. The food is not getting better. We need to be learning how to cook, how to prepare, grow at least one vegetable in a bucket.
At least I'm telling. Oh yeah, by the way, people, I can't wait for next month so I can put out my plant them on my balcony and make things can go on. I'm tell you, I'm encouraging you to do the same thing, at least plant one thing so you can eat it for yourself. You see? Anytime we sit down and we reason, we talk about the things that are more important, right? We not share it to each other, We just make it dead. That's why I'm saying I have a spot where I can come and talk about them things here. And I'm not in a hurry, right? Because I'm telling you, it's not sensationalism, it's understanding. As we proceed, I like the lady for real.
And how to cook, how to prepare, grow at least one vegetable in a bucket. See, the further away you are away from your food source, the less important it seems to be to you. And those are the first people that get caught up in a famine because they don't have any food. We don't even know how to get food. I had my nephew once. I had my grandson and my nephew outside on the porch shucking corn because used to always try to keep them involved with the food process. And Hassan, my grandson, once said, "Where did this corn come from, Grandma?" And before I could answer, Ramsey said, "What are you talking about? Corn come out of can." I was so hurt. He wasn't in my household though, so Hassan,
And that would tell you, say, even your little niece, nephew, cousin, anybody, it's for you to teach them how to plant, reap, eat, repeat. So them can't say this can't come out of can. Yes, it come out of can, but it come from the ground. And that may tell you how far we are get away from ourselves. Or we just ignore the important things them. I'm telling you, it's not hard enough. All people don't have no time to do nothing. I hear people say them don't have no time. Okay, what don't you have no time for? Because there's something called time management, No matter how busy, you must have time. You can't say you don't have no time to take a breath. You don't have no time for use the washroom. You don't have no time for brush your teeth. You don't have no time for wash your. There's always time to enjoy life. Almost 1 year next month since my sister passed. And that's a fair favorite line. You know, no time. But we always have time to exist. As we proceed, people.
Hassan, Ramses lived with some Christians, his mom and daddy. And he's trying to come out of can. I said, wait a minute. And then I had to go through, boy, that opened up a lesson. Oh, we dealt with that from the grocery store to the ground to us growing stuff in the backyard, which I had done, before. But yeah, he was 14.
He was 14. People, when she taught me things are some like 6, 7. I know some probably thinks they have some little picnic. 14? And things I can't come out I can? Eh? I'm telling you, say just because them say the United States or America, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen everywhere in similar situations. Same boat, similar situation. And more time, people need to nitpick on, oh, that's not here, that's not there. As we proceed,
He wasn't 3. So many of our children don't. And then I once went into what's some chicken place, and the girl was in there. I said, okay, we're going to get 2 wings and a leg. And she kept taking the chicken and turning it over different pieces. I said, what's the matter? I said, I wanted the crispy, what we eat. I said, what's the problem? She said, I get mixed up. I don't know which is which. This is how it is out here. So you have to go around this country to really see if you've been out here. Once you get out of your shell at your house and your little neighborhood and see the condition that exists out here in America of our people. It's people living out here who still don't have a toilet. Black people don't have an indoor toilet. Some of them don't have a toilet at all. So
you see? I the same thing I say about them people in America we don't have no toilet. So if we apply it as a culture, as people, some people probably have a little bit more than we know. But trust me, that's why I say it don't make no sense. We have this ego. We have this tension between each other for no reason. It's not necessary. As we proceed, people, as we proceed.
So as I said, we have not made, a nation is judged by its worst examples. Based on that, we have not made the progress we think we have. And we're embarrassed of each other now. We see you out there looking bad, doing bad. Oh, that embarrasses me. This is how they have taught us to be. We got class distinction among the lowest class in the country. It's just a terrible thing. But it's going to take some work. We're going to end up with forced unity. Okay. Just not getting along, breaking up all the time. That's a luxury. That's going to end. A lot of things are going to change within the next 10 years. The enemy has never had a civilization that lasted over 200 and some odd years. We're past that.
Past that a lot.
Yeah. So, something's coming. I'm here to tell you, that things are going to start happening that we ain't going to have any control over. So it's best that what we do now is, I was telling somebody too about the food shortage. And I said, we're going to reach a point where there's going to be a famine and a food shortage here in America. And I say, so what will you do? You're not putting up any food or anything. You're not saving no cans, no buckets, no nothing. And this is a brother. He said, well, there'll be a food shortage. I'll just call down and have them raise my food stamps. See, we don't even make no sense. We just do. This was an adult.
The adult ain't no smarter than the kid. How their mind clouded. Eh? One thing say can come out a can. And one big man think say him just a go tell them to raise up the food stamps and that a go grow more food. That a go out and plant the food they need. Huh?
This we don't really even understand basic things about survival because they made us dependent, total dependence. And the only thing we can hold on to is, as I said, we are gonna be the winner. It may not look like it, but that's how it always looks for people in that, you know.
And where did the courage come from initially to step out and do the work that you did? Because you were getting a crazy fight.
At first,
yeah, like a
oh,
crazy fight.
yeah.
And where did the courage come from to continue, not be discouraged?
You don't see it like that. I didn't see it like that. Somebody asked me once, how does it feel to be up on stage in front of all those people or whatever? I say it feels natural. It feels like this is how it should be. And that's how you know there'd be something in you. That God didn't send me. I sent me. Okay. I ain't saying that God do not need that no help. History is going to play out. Okay.
All right, people. So again, that's the interview with Shabazz Ali. I'm gonna tell you, say that's part one, cause again, the controversy with our book, right? A lot of people, she says, the critics them chastise her, and obviously, I want to find out who the critic was and how. Me tell you, say that's a series we can do now because me tell you, say the people them were criticized. I want to see for them history. I want to see where them do. What give these the people pen and paper for bring down other people when them not accomplish what other people accomplish. Right? That are the strength where we have, People can always sit down and talk and say whatever them can talk and say. Meanwhile, we accomplish it. People, them educational program, I love them because I tell you, so when you come over here, so you just relax and you just learn, right? You just relax and you learn and you understand. Because these are the things when I say always wanted to do. And since now we are do it, it feel nice. And tell you, I'm going to continue this month. I have so much. I tell you, 3 days a ladies me do straight. And me I find some lawyers and doctor man where pure greatness left, right, and center. The topic them is unstoppable. I'm gonna tell you, for next month we still are gonna do this, but then we can move on to invention. We can move on to economics. We can move on to a lot more. And that we are gonna do because it better we are do something positive than I do something negative. And then there's enough negative out there already. One big up all my brethren them, Mr. Yellow, few month I come up next month. Talk to him dear. Big up all of the YouTube people them. From what I no hear my brethren days. I know what I go on. Big up all of the people them silent, listen. People them watch and comment. Don't know I go already cause a long time I used to used to watch and no comment on nothing until me get familiar with that channel. But again, people, I saw it go. Right? Right, people? There's always more to come, people. Always more to come. Because you see, the thing about it is, them people that give us so much more. It's undeniable. They try push you around 4 hours, but some don't want to do one late night live like around 2, 3 in the morning. I just find some topic, some great people. Or find me, we can highlight. I can just chat, people. Can drop the link and we can people then can come on the live and check out the live. And I see it. Without people, always more.